Hello guys, I know this has been a much anticipated video. I'm finally getting around to recording it for you guys. So, homeschooling. This is a hot topic right now. Specifically this year because of everything that's going on in the world, this whole COVID thing. A lot of you guys are at a crossroads right now of homeschooling your child, sending your child to school, this virtual school, all of the things. And I know for a fact, some of you watching this never in a million years thought you would ever be at this crossroads or even contemplating homeschooling. That was me 2 years ago, before this whole Corona thing even took off. Like, that in itself is for a whole other video, but I've been there. Okay, I've been at that crossroads. I will film a different video on kind of my journey, my decision making, just my story, because I was one of those people that was like, never in a million years will I be one of those homeschool moms. Like, no. I have been there. And 2 years later, like, once your eyes have been open and you are a part of this amazing journey, you can never go back. And that's what I want to share with you guys. This is such a fun, happy, peaceful way. It's everything opposite of what I thought. It is not screaming and crying and hating each other and super stressful. And don't get me wrong, like, right, homeschoolers have their bad days too. But it's not what a lot of you all are thinking. What a lot of you guys were thrown into the end of last school season, the virtual learning at home and this workload that was sent home with you guys, that I saw and spoke with people, that is not homeschooling. That is stressful. Those million trillion worksheets, hours of sitting down, forcing your kids to do this and crying and, arguing, that is heck of a lot of stress, all right? That is not what homeschooling is. And that would make me so mad when I saw these parents so frustrated. They're like, I could never homeschool. Look at all this like crap we have to do. These teachers are sending home all of this work. These schools are sending home all of this work. My kids are crying. And I would tell people, that is not homeschooling. That is school at home. Homeschooling is not school at home. It is the complete opposite. Okay, so I just wanted to say that really quick before we hopped in. I do want this video to be kind of quick, to the point, for you guys that are just getting started with this. I actually made a checklist for you guys. Let's see how many. I have 9 points. So go ahead, get a piece of paper, a notebook, a pen, pencil, and write these things down. This is to the point, getting started homeschooling your kids, okay? And this is gonna make it a lot easier, a lot less stressful on you, because it can be very overwhelming if you are brand new to this whole homeschooling thing. You have no clue what you're doing. There's a million trillion curriculums. There's a million trillion people telling you this and that, and you need to get this and do that, and this curriculum is better than that, and this homeschool stuff, blah, 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 blah. And your whole brain is spinning, and you're like, what the heck am I getting myself into? And it does not need to be like that. So I'm here to help you simplify the whole getting started process, okay? So you guys ready? Number 1, make the decision. Make the decision. Are you gonna homeschool or not? Literally write on a piece of paper the pros and cons, okay? The pros to you homeschooling, the cons to you homeschooling. The pros to the school system, the cons to sending your kids to school, okay? That, and then you're gonna look back over that, and that is gonna help you make your decision. And that is ultimately gonna give you your why. Your why in doing this is what is gonna drive you and keep you going throughout this whole process. My why for homeschooling my kids, I would never send them back to the school system. And that is my why. Those are my beliefs and my values, and that is what you need to figure out for yourself and your family. That is going your pros and cons. That's going to give you your reason for you homeschooling, okay? So number 1, make your decision. Number 2, find out the laws for your state, okay? The HSLDA.com, okay, that's HSLDA.com stands for Homeschool Legal Defense Association. Okay, that's kind of long. Homeschool Legal Defense Association. They advocate for you, for homeschooling parents. Okay, the first page on that website, if you scroll down towards the bottom, it will say homeschool laws by state. Okay, type in your state and it will give you the laws right there, because homeschool laws by state vary. You need to know the laws for your state. And withdrawing your child, if you've already done that, great. If not, needs to be a certified letter. It's called an NOI, Notice of Intent. All right, your notice of intent on homeschooling your child. Minimal contact with the school and the school district is better, meaning like in person. Try to do as much as you can by phone and email and mailing, okay? Always mail everything, certified letter, keep your receipt for the certified letter, and all of that. When I withdrew Sophie and Brantley, I had an amazing experience. Our school district was awesome about it, but I've heard the complete opposite, where it can be a nightmare and people are not nice at the school district and principals and all of that. Because guys, it is not in the school's best interest for you to withdraw your child, okay? It is not in the school district's best interest for you to homeschool your child. It is in their best interest to keep as many kids in their system as possible. Okay, so please keep that in mind, and make sure that you're visiting the HSLDA website, because they are for you. They advocate for you, for homeschooling parents. All right, school districts, schools, they do not. Okay, they do not. Keep that in mind. All right, so know your homeschool laws. That was number 2. Number 3, and I've already told so many people this because you don't know where to start, right? Like, you're like, okay, I want to homeschool. You've made you've made the decision. You figured out your state's homeschool laws. Now what? You need to find out, what type of homeschooler are you? Okay, this is number 3. Find out what type of homeschooler you are. Okay, how does your child best learn? And if you're like, I don't know how my child best learns. They've been in school. Somebody else has been doing this job like all these years. Like, I honestly don't know. And that's okay. That's okay. So we can figure out together how you and your child, how your child best learns, and how this setup and this whole homeschooling thing will best be for your family. Okay, do you want major structure? Do you want kind of structure? Do you want no structure? Like, this is going to depend on you, your child, and your family. Okay, just because Susie or Sally down the block is using this curriculum and they're doing this homeschooling method, that may not work for your family. So number 3 is super important. Finding out what type of homeschooler you are. And there are so many quizzes that you can take. I literally tell people that come to me, just type in Google, what type of homeschooler am I? And that will bring up 6 or 7 of the main homeschooling styles that there are, the main homeschooling methods that there are. That's what I did when I first started. I literally typed in, what type of homeschooler am I? And I read through them all, and the very last one was unschooling, and every single question I was like, 10, 10, 10, 10. Like, I was like, holy crap. I'd never even heard of unschooling, but I was like, we're unschoolers. I identified, and our family identified, our just the way we live, because guys, this is a lifestyle. The way we live was unschooling. Like, that was our method. Unschooling may not be for your family, okay? I'm going to film another video dedicated specifically for unschooling and what it is and what we do and all of those things. But I wanted to keep this video on strictly just broad homeschooling, okay? So number 3, find out what type of homeschooler you are, okay? That is super, super important. And once you figure out what type of homeschooler you are, that is where it starts to get a heck of a lot easier, okay? If you identify with Charlotte Mason, Montessori, unschooling, unit studies, if you want to, there's so many different methods, but it will bring up the 6 or 7 main ones, and you can read about each one. You can actually take a quiz for each one, and it will give you your results and which one you identify with most. And so once you have honed in on what type of homeschooler you are, then you can type in Google, okay, I am a Charlotte Mason homeschooler. Then you can type in Charlotte Mason curriculum, okay? That's how you can narrow everything down, because there's 5 million curriculums out there. You need to figure out what type of homeschooler you are, okay, your kids are, your family is, and then you can look at the type of curriculums that are going to work best for your family. Unschoolers don't have a curriculum, okay, so you may fall into that category. We are eclectic. We can pick and choose from, and unschoolers, that doesn't mean like you are against all curriculums. Actually, no, I pick and choose, and all unschoolers are different. I personally pick and choose from different curriculums that I see. If my kids are super into the beach and the ocean, we are doing a whole study on the ocean next week that I'm super excited about, which brings me to number 4. Number 4 is getting your supplies, okay? We're doing a whole thing on ocean and sea creatures next week, so I got on Amazon last night and ordered some stuff for things that we're going to be doing next week. So that's number 4, getting your supplies and your books, okay? You can't do that until you figured out what type of homeschooler you are and you kind of see what kind of supplies that you need. And guys, just start out with the bare minimum. Like, get some paper, get some pencils, some crayons, some markers, pencil sharpeners, glue sticks, construction paper, like the basics, all right? Get the basics and start where you are. You don't need to go out and spend $500 on this curriculum and all of these top-notch supplies for homeschooling. Like, you don't need to do that. Start with the minimum, and as you go, as you progress, then you can decide, oh wow, we really need to get this. Oh wow, we really need a map, okay? Or, oh gosh, we really need a globe. Or we really need to get this kind of book or that kind of book. All right, so start with the basics, and as you get going with this, then will realize, and you can make a list. Okay, we need a map, I need a globe, I want this type of book, whatever it is. All right. Excuse me. All right, that was number 4. Get your supplies and books. And guys, Amazon is my favorite place. Really for books too. There is a used book option, because I feel like a lot of people think homeschooling may be expensive. It does not have to be. The library has so many books. Amazon has a used book option. There are tons of groups you can get on, like trading and swapping, homeschooling groups. There's just so many resources, guys. Okay, number 5, create a schedule. So what does your homeschooling year look like? Is it going to be year-round? I believe a typical school schedule is 36 weeks. So are you going to go like on the school schedule, 36 weeks? Is it going to be year-round? We personally do year-round. We do something like every day. We don't have like dedicated days for school or learning, and that may look different to you, and that's okay. That's the beauty in this, is you get to do what best suits you and your family and your schedule. But set some type of schedule. Create a weekly schedule. How many days a week you'll be doing a subject. Most curriculums will tell you, okay? So create a weekly schedule, all right? Most curriculums will tell you history, you're doing 2 days a week, literature is 3 days a week, music, art, that's 1 day a week. Most curriculums at the front of the book will tell you how many days a week you're doing that, and actually write it down. Kids like to have stuff to look forward to. Unschooling, we don't have dedicated subjects on days, we just do it all, okay? And it's based on the interests of my kids. So I actually have our unschooling calendar up on the refrigerator, and it's for the month of July, so they can go, and it makes them excited. Like each day is a different day. Like day before yesterday, I believe, was Moon Day. It was the anniversary of Armstrong walking on the moon. So we talked about that day. We actually watched a documentary on it. The kids were super excited. I have a moon phase craft we're gonna do. So each day is a different like national day on the calendar, and they love looking at it. Like tomorrow I think is vanilla ice cream day, or vanilla ice cream cone day. So we'll do something fun for that, but they like looking at it and having some kind of idea of like, oh my gosh, that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. So having a schedule for me to say that, because I don't like schedules. We really don't have scheduled school times. Like we don't do 9 to 11 is this, and that's another thing I want to bring up really quick. Guys, homeschooling is not like 8 hours a day, or it's like 2-3 hours. And for unschooling, it looks a lot different because it's just life. It's life. But depending on what method you're going with, it's a couple hours a day, and you have the rest of the day to play, spend time with each other, cook, crafts. Like, it's just a wonderful thing. Okay, so I don't want to get too far off topic. So create your schedule. Are you going to do year round? Are you going to do 36 weeks? Create a weekly schedule. Just get a notebook to create, some type of weekly schedule. I find that I have actually an unschooling notebook where I keep Sophie and Brantley. I have Sophie's interests, Brantley's interests, and I kind of try to plan ahead. Like next week, I know we're going to do a whole study on the ocean. I have different crafts planned out for like 2 or 3 days next week that we're going to do. So I do try to plan ahead just because there's certain supplies I need for this particular craft that I ordered last night, and I find having some type of structure makes it a lot less stressful, because you don't want to wake up and be like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing today? Like what's going on? Like you want to be prepared, okay? So that was number 5, create a schedule. Number 6, where is your learning space going to be? So in our house, it's everywhere. It's in the living room, it's the kitchen, it's the movie room, it's outside most of the time. We really don't have a dedicated learning space. I would say if we did like our sit down projects, it would be the kitchen, okay? The bar in the kitchen, that is our learning space. And if you don't have to have a dedicated learning space. If you do, you like have a room that you want to dedicate to homeschool, that's amazing. Or even like a corner in a room where you have, a table and all the supplies. If you don't have a dedicated space, at least have a dedicated space for your supplies. Like I have a cabinet over here. I actually want to get one of those rolling carts. I want to get one of those to keep all of our art supplies and craft supplies and books, and just have a dedicated space for at least your supplies. So I do have 2 cabinets in our kitchen that is like all the art supplies, books, paper, maps, like all Brantley's reading stuff, all the things. So at least have a designated area for your supplies. That was actually number 7. So number 6 was, where's your learning space going to be? Okay, you don't have to have a designated space, but if you do, that's great too. Number 7 was at least have a designated space for your supplies, okay? Number 8, find support groups. This is so important. Find support groups on Facebook, on Instagram, okay, right here, in Facebook groups. Just find support groups, all right? And specifically for the way that you have decided to homeschool. So if you're going unschooling, find unschooling support groups, okay? Because the last thing that you want to feel is isolated and not know what's going on. They are great for bouncing ideas off of each other. I get so many ideas from the support groups I'm in. Like the ocean study, I actually got that idea from Instagram just a couple days ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, like my kids would love that. So find support groups to be a part of. That's really important, okay? Dedicated to the way that you are homeschooling. Because having someone, other people, okay, other moms to kind of rely on and just be a part of, it's huge, okay? Okay, last one, number 9, socialization. Right? Like, people that are not homeschoolers, it's crazy to me because they're like, what about socialization? Like, how are they going to socialize? Like, I can't tell you how many times Sophie got in trouble for socializing in school. Like, she was told so many times, this is not the place to socialize, okay? You do not come here for socialization. That's what she got in trouble for the most, talking in school, okay? You're not there to socialize. So that was kind of baffling to me when people, from the school system were like, what about socialization? I'm like, my kid got in trouble every single day for socializing, like yelled at. So socialization in homeschooling, my kids socialize so much. And what is so cool is not just with kids their own age, they have grown confident, okay? Brantley has always been, Sophie has been in the school system for longer, so her relationship with authority or adults was different than Brantley's. She was really more shy, backwards, because in school, right, it's usually like yelling, you don't talk, do this, you can't go to the bathroom, like so many rules. And when we pulled her, like, to see the backwardness, like to speaking to an adult, was crazy. So she's really come out of her shell in that way. So our kids know how to communicate with adults, with people of all ages, all races, all nationalities. Even when we were out of town, having Brantley call the front desk for some towels, like little things like that. A lot of kids are like, oh no, I can't do that, like I'm scared. But building their confidence up like that and speaking to adults, like socializing with people on all levels, is wonderful. So some socialization tips. Sports. Okay, Brantley was in basketball, baseball, Sophie's in theater, baton, tumbling. There are so many sports that homeschoolers can be a part of now. Homeschooling has grown so much than what it used to be. There used to be not very many options. Now there is an overload of options to get your kids involved in. There's homeschool groups, there's co-ops, there's weekly meetups with homeschooling groups. I know a lot of things you can't do right now because of COVID, and a lot of things are canceled. Like last year, we did Christmas ornament painting. We met up like every single week to just play and do crafts and eat and just stuff like that. So and that's with co-ops, or you could do weekly just meetups with local homeschoolers. Being a part of local groups to you is really important, so your kids can see the same faces, on a weekly basis and really form friendships. I think that's important. There's clubs, there's like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, there's 4-H clubs, there's Lego clubs now, there's book clubs, there's so many different resources on your kids socializing. My kids being homeschooled, socialize way more. Like, I joke with people now, I'm like, I don't know how our kids had time to go to school. Like, because we're so busy, we're always doing stuff, we're always talking to people. Like, Brantley just had a friend over yesterday. Like, it's funny to think, I'm like, I don't know how our kids had time to go to school. Like, we're just busy and it's fun. So that was tip number 9. Socialization. There is no lack of socialization, okay? And I want to end giving you guys a book. It's called Kathy Duffy's book. It's 102 top picks for homeschool curriculum, okay? That's Kathy Duffy. All right, 102 top picks for homeschool curriculum. That is a wonderful book, a wonderful resource on the different schooling methods and styles, and then once you pick your style and your method, then you can pick a curriculum. Or maybe you're unschool like us and not have a curriculum. But again, that is totally up to you, what suits you and your family the best. So that's it, guys. I hope you all found this helpful. Please leave questions down in the comments. You can send me a message. I am here to help you through this process, and hopefully this checklist is going to make it a heck of a lot easier. It should not be stressful, okay? I'm here to help you simplify this process. So we will talk soon. See you guys.